Hello everyone! In this episode I'm going to continue my JavaScript tutorial, and this is going to be the second episode about objects in JavaScript. So yeah, in the previous one we went through these. So we went through a few different ways on how to create objects, how to access object values, how to access them through string concatenation or even with a template literal. So yeah, and we also created a few objects. Alright, in this episode we are going to continue from where we left off and yeah, I'm gonna show you some JavaScript object methods next. So, methods are actions that can be performed on objects. Methods are function definitions stored as property values. So, for example, let's create, I'm gonna actually delete all of this. There we go. Let's create an entirely new object. So const person equals and curly brackets and semicolon at the end. Let's say first name Homer. No, not that one. Homer. There we go. And then remember to add a comma. The last name is going to be Simpson. Then we gotta set an ID. So let's say that the ID is 3434, for example. And then let's create a function. So, full name is going to be function. The function doesn't require a name, except this is kind of the name of the function. Anyways, let's do the function. So, brackets, curly brackets, then we are going to say return this dot first name. So this refers to this object. So yeah, the this keyword is often used in JavaScript, and basically it refers to the parent constructor of the values, kind of. So let's say, like in this example, we have an object. So that this keyword will refer to the object. If we had an array, it would refer to the array. If we had a class, then the this keyword would refer to the class, if it's being used inside of it. But in this case, we have an object. So yeah, now it's going to be referring to the object. Alright, so let's continue. From this function, full name, we are going to return first name and the last name. So this dot first name plus then an empty string, and we gotta add a space, and plus this dot last name and semicolon. Alright, then I got these paragraphs. I'm gonna take this one. So document.get element by ID example, and I'm gonna save it as a constant of text. And then I'm gonna access the text dot inner HTML equals person dot full name. Alright, and because it's a function, we also gotta put the brackets and semicolon over there. Okay. And by the way, I did a mistake. Once again, the same mistake I did in the previous one. I didn't make these into strings. I just kept putting some values inside of here. Anyways, now it says Homer Simpson on the page. So the full name function return this first name plus space plus this last name. So when we access the inner HTML of this paragraph and make it equal to the person.full name, the outcome is going to be Homer Simpson. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's create two variables. Const person's name equals Homer and const person's last name equals Simpson. So now we have set these values over here. So now we can use them, the variables. So let's set the first name to be person's name, and then this one over here. So the outcome is going to be the same. I'm using properties and values over here, but this time I am using variables instead of string. Instead of writing the string inside of here. So yeah, we can also create an object like this and even use it inside of a function. So yeah. Yep. And if you don't have variables, remember to add some quotes around this. So if I add quotes to these, it's gonna say person's name, person's last name. Is that really the name of the person? Well, interesting name you got. Congratulations for that. Anyways, we don't want that, so we gotta be very careful when we put quotes and when we don't. If it's a variable, don't put quotes, and if it's not a variable but it's a string, put the quotes. However, if it's a number, you are not necessarily going to need the quotes, and if it's a boolean value, which means true or false, you are not going to need the quotes either. So yeah, let's go to the next example. Also, something that I want to tell you is that in JavaScript, objects are kind of like the main thing. So they are containers for properties and methods. Properties are named values, and methods and functions, like this one, are stored as properties. Properties can be primitive values, functions, or even other objects. So in JavaScript, almost everything is an object. So first of all, objects are objects, of course. The math functions, I haven't talked about them yet, but let's say, let's take the example 2, change the text content to be math.random. There we go. So the math.random is also an object, basically. So yeah, math is going to be the object, and random is going to be the method. So yeah, math.random will return us a number between 0 and 1. And when we go through over this topic, I'm gonna show you how we can create numbers from any different range. Okay, so yeah, so math is objects, functions are objects as well, dates are objects, arrays are our objects, and maps and sets are objects. So all JavaScript values except primitives are objects. And the primitive values in JavaScript include strings, like this, numbers, like this, booleans, like this. This is a boolean. It's either true or false. Then we also have a null, undefined, symbol, and big int. Alright, so those are the 7 types of primitive data types in JavaScript. I'm gonna remove that. That was just an example. So yeah, objects are mutable. They are addressed by reference and not by value. So let's say that a person is an object. They are addressed by a reference and not a value. So let's say, for example, we know that person.firstName will result in Homer. But if we say const x equals person.firstName, and then if we take the text2 equals document get element by id example2, and then access the text content and make it this equal to x, oh yeah, but I took a property value pair, of course. So this works. We can take a property and a value of a property. But if I was trying to take the entire object, that will not work. X is now equal to object. So yeah, the object X is not a copy of the person. So the object X is person. The object X and the person share the same memory address, and any changes to X will also change the person. So let's say that we are going to say x.h equals 43, if that's how old Homer Simpson was. And then from this function we are also going to print age. So let's say plus person.h, Homer Simpson 43. What about x.h? Well, that is also going to work. So yeah, if we make an variable equal to an object, that will like save a reference into the object itself. And after that, we can apply new properties and values like this. So yeah, even though the object's name is person, we can use like x. When we make the x equal to the person, then we can use x.h equals 43 or any other value. So yeah, that's how this one works. So the important thing to remember is, I'm gonna write it in. So yeah, there we go. So this line of code is not a copy of the person object. It's only a reference to the person object. And we can use this reference to change the properties and values of the person object. So yeah, that's basically what it is. All right. I think that is gonna be it for this episode. Now we got all the basic knowledge about objects that we are going to need. And yeah, I hope that I'm going to see you in the next episode or some other video on the channel. In the next JavaScript episode, I'm gonna be talking about object properties in more detail. And yeah, we are gonna be working with objects for a while now. But anyways, I hope you were able to learn something new from this episode, and yeah, I hope that I'm going to see you in the next video or some other video. But anyways, happy learning everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye bye everybody.